أعوذ بالله السميع العليم البصير من الشيطان الرجيم من همسه ونفخه ونفخه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. بجاه سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله، إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى. يا معلم آدم علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. يا معلم آدم علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. يا معلم آدم علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. بكرامة وعلمك ما لم تكن تعلم، وكان فضل الله عليك عظيما. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تفتح علينا فتوح العارفين بحكمتك، وتنشر علينا وقايتك العظمى ونعمتك الكبرى ورحمتك الواسعة، وتعلمنا ما جهلنا وتفهمنا ما درسنا ودرسنا، وتذكرنا ما نسينا أو نسينا، وتنفعنا بما علمتنا، وتبارك لنا في علمنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بكرامة من أرسلته رحمة للعالمين محمد ابن عبد الله وآله وصحبه أجمعين، آمين. وبعد. الإخوة الأعزاء، أحباب الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. A very good evening to every one of us, wherever we happen to be and whenever we come across to this. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon us. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for He is the only one worthy of all appreciations and thankfulness. We thank Him, we appreciate Him, we adore Him. We do ask Him to keep showering His mercies and blessings in abundance upon the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions and household, and all followers unto the day of reckoning and beyond. Ameen. Ahbab al-Kiram, we are still on our Post-Ramadan Friday spiritual delicacies under the title Delicacies Spiritual Treatment in the guiding of the Hikam of Ibn Atta'illah as-Secondary. The Delicacies Spiritual Treats in the guiding of the Hikam of Ibn Atta'illah as-Secondary. Today being the 30th day of Dhul Qa'dah, 1445 after Hijrah, and corresponding to the 7th of June 2024 CE. The theme of the aphorism of today is extreme needs versus divine gifts. The connection of the needs of man versus the kind of divine gifts that he receives. So what are the connection between human needs, human wants, human humility, human humiliation towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the reception of the divine gifts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What is the connection? And what do we have to say about it? And that is the point of aphorism number 129. Now, in line with that, in line with the aphorism, we have these two verses from the glorious Quran, one from Surah An-Naml, and the other one from Surah Al-Imran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Al-Imran verse 123, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. So this in arrangement is supposed to come first before Surah Al-Naml, but because of the connection with the aphorism number 129, so the content of the verse of Surah An-Naml comes first in the aphorism, and the concept of the Surah Al-Imran comes next. So that is the arrangement, and that is why it is such arranged. Okay, and Surah An-Naml says, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَٰهٌ مَّعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. The ayah says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Naml, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. Who is the one in charge of responding to the distress call of the person who is distressed when he calls? وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. أَمَّنْ يَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. So the second question, who is the one in charge of removing the evil that is befalling any of you? Number 3, أَمَّنْ يَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ. Who is the one who has placed you as the vicegerents on the land, as the supervisors on the land? So, and the answer, of course, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then, rhetorically, Ilahum Allah. Is there any other than Allah? Is there anyone who has the ability to assist other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. We know that there is no one except Allah, but however, little is said that we remember. قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. So in this ayah, we have 3 points. Number 1, al-ittirar. Number 2, kashfu su. Number 3, al-khilafa al-ardi. So first one is the needs, the calamity, okay, the what we say, difficulty that we find ourselves in. The second one is the discovery of that, okay, uncovering, okay, settling that evil problem. Then after that is placing us as vicegerents on the land. Okay, it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has the ability to do that, that is capable of doing that. Okay, so this is the point. The point of iftirad is that this actually necessitates, or not, actually not necessitating, it makes divine blessings and response closer to when we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we are distressed. Okay, so meaning to say, this distress is calling Allah and being with Him when we are distressed is a quicker way of getting a response from Him. So that is the point of the ayah, as we are going to see in aphorism number 129. In ayah of Ali Imran 123, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has supported you and made you victorious, okay, during the war of Badr. وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. When you displayed, you showed yourself when you show yourself as in need, okay, as humiliated, when you showed your humiliation, when you surrender your personalities to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has most surely assisted you, supported you, and made you conquer, okay, upon the enemy. But فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. So be conscious of that Allah, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you'll be more grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the point of the aphorism in this ayah is adilla, at-tadlil, okay, showing humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so humiliating oneself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and bringing oneself and displaying oneself as in need towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the point of the aphorism, and these are the conceptual interpretations of the two ayahs. Now we move to the aphorism number 129 of the Hikam, where Ibn Atta'illah al-Sakandari says, "Ma talaba laka shay'un mithlu al-idtirari wa la asra'a bil mawahibi ilayka mithlu al-dillati wal-iftiqari." Again, "Ma talaba laka shay'un mithlu al-idtirari ولا أسرع بالمواهب إليك مثل الذلة والافتقار." So we can equally read the aphorism in other sense. So we can read it as ما طلك منك شيء مثل الابتراء ما طلب منك شيئا مثل الابترار ولا أسرع بالمواهب لك مثل الذلة والافتقار. We can also read it in that sense, okay, according to the grammarians and Nahwiyin. There is no problem in that. So, but we maintain the arrangement of Ibn Atta'illah as-Sakandari. ما طلب الله لك شيء مثل الابترار، يعني ما طلب لك شيء من الله مثل الابترار. So, nothing quickens your request in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like calling him when you are in need, when you are distressed, when you are distressful. ما طلب لك شيء الإجابة من الله مثل الاضطرار. Nothing quickens your request towards Allah like your display of need towards Allah when you are distressed. وَلَا أَسْرَعَ بِالْمَوَاهِبِ إِلَيْكَ, and nothing quickens the gifts of Allah, the divine gifts, closer to you, مثل الذلة والافتقار, like humility and needs and wantings. The display of need and wantings to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And conceptually, this means that there are two ways through which you can get your request and response from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one is calling him when you are distressed and in need, knowing fully well that he is the one that has the ability and capacity to grant your request, trusting him. Okay? Just like in reference with the hadith of the Prophet when he says, call upon Allah when you are certain and sure that he is going to answer you. That is, when he will believe you. So in the concept of وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. So when anyone calls me, so I am going to answer them, okay, tell them I am very close to them, okay, and I answer their prayer and call whenever they call me. So that the best of time that you get your response quickened is when you are in distress. And that is number one. Number two, And when you are calling, you display your humility, okay, your contingency upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also your being needy towards him and from him. So these two aspects quicken the response from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So literally, nothing pleads on your behalf like your extreme need, nor does anything speed gifts to you quicker than your lowliness and wants towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, he has not requested from you anything like you're feeling a hard-pressed need. And there is no quicker way to get divine gifts than feeling low and showing that you are in need. So these are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Now let's see the interpretation of Sheikh Abdul Majid Ash-Sharnubi rahimahullah, what he says. He says, Ayyuhal Murid, O beloved seeker of the truth, ما طلب لك الحوائج من الله تعالى شيء مثل الاضطرار إليه. Nothing request for you on your behalf, nothing request on your behalf, your needs and requirements, like being needful unto him, being contingent unto him. إذ به تقع الإجابة, as because it is true, being contingent and being needy towards him, that you are going to receive your response. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the ayah that we quoted, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَمَنْ يَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَٰهٌ مَّعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ or قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. So أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. So who is the one who responds to the distress call of the one who calls upon Allah when he calls? Okay, so that is the first concept. Okay, على معنى أن أحسن مطلوب يطلبه العبد الاضطرار. Okay, so it means that the best thing that is required of man, okay, that through which he can request from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through his need. وهو أن لا يتوهم من نفسه حولا ولا قوة. So it is that he should not assume or arrogate to himself any might or any power in doing anything. ولا يرى لنفسه سببا من الأسباب يعتمد عليه أو يستند إليه. And he should not project for himself any factor or any way out or any solution, okay, that he can or could rely on or depend on. بل يكون بمنزلة الغريق في البحر. So he should consider himself as the one who is drowned in the water, in a river, in the ocean. أو التائه في تيه الفقر. Or rather, consider himself as the one who is immersed in poverty. لا يرى لغياثه إلا مولاه. Who does not see anyone other than Allah and his Lord to save him and to get him out of the problem. ولا يرجو لنجاته من هلكته أحدا سواه. And some just project himself like someone who does not see anyone to save him, to bring him to safety from the destruction other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by this, والذلة والافتقار أمران موجبان لإسراء مواهب الحق تعالى إلى العبد المتصف بهما. So humility and need, okay, contingent need, are two things that necessitate that facilitate quickening uh, quick quickening of the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards the servant that possess those two acts. وإلى ذلك الإشارة بقوله تعالى. This is exemplified in the ayah of Surah Al Imran that we quoted earlier, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. Allah has assisted you and supported you and made you conquer in the Ghazwat al-Badr, while you showed and displayed your humility and lowliness. فَذُلَّتُهُمْ أَوْجَبَتْ عِزَّتُهُمْ وَنَصْرَتُهُمْ. So it was their humility towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that facilitated their greatness and their victory. As said in the following poetic way. وَإِذَا تَذَلَّلَتِ الرِّقَابُ تَقَرُّبًا منها إليك فإنزها في ذلها. وإذا تذللت الرقاب تقربا منها إليك فإنزها في ذلها. وإذا تذللت الرقاب تقربا منها إليك فإنزها في ذلها. وإذا تذللت الرقاب تقربا منها إليك. So if the necks of servants are humiliated and lowered down for you, تقربا إليك منها إليك, showing his closeness and humility towards you, فإزها في ذلها. At that point and particular time, the greatness comes to him, comes to the person through his humiliating himself towards you. In another poetic manner, حيث أسلمتني إلى الذال واللام تلقيتني بعين وزاي. حيث أسلمتني إلى الذال واللام. When you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pushes me towards الذال الذل إلى الذال واللام, okay, towards the letter the and letter lam. So these are the two letters forming الذل, الذل, humility, humiliation. Okay, so when you surrendered me to possess the ability of humility, تلقيتني بعين وزاي. So you meet me, okay, you accompanied me, you welcomed me with the letter Ain and letter Zai. So this letter Ain and letter Zai are the two roots of Al-Izzu, greatness. So meaning, so you welcomed me and you accompanied me with, you accorded me greatness. When you allowed me and permitted me and blessed me with the characteristics and attributes of humility, then you welcomed me and accorded me your ability in showing greatness to me. Okay? And وَافْهَمْهَا هُنَا قَوْلُهُ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. So this is also depicted in the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that says, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله كنز من كنوز الجنة. So the statement لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله, there is no might and there is no power. Okay, there is no might and there is no power except that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this statement is one of the treasures of the paradise of Jannah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to so bless us with this kind of treasure. إنه على ذلك قدير وبالإجابة جدير نعم المولى ونعم النصير. Now, the summary, the conceptual summary of the aphorism. Number one, it shows in the aphorism that nothing is impossible on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has all might to do anything that he wishes to do. Two, creatures are constantly contingent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no freedom. We are all constantly and all the time contingent on him. Number three, most surely after hardship comes the ease, as displayed in إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Next, extreme need opens the door of divine mercies. Although it may not necessitate it, it facilitates it. The extreme need facilitates the door of divine mercy. It may not necessarily open it, because it is the mercy of Allah that does it. Number five, a show of humility and contingency to Allah may facilitate quicker divine response, although it may not necessitate it. Okay, everything depends on Allah. And requests could be granted extraordinarily by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even when servants are most unworthy of them, even when we don't even deserve them. So by this, we are supposed to cling to the attributes of His Lordship and become realized in the attributes of our slavehood as we are. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us aright. Now, some benefits in Ayatul Kursi for those who need it. So this is in accordance to the Prophet who is reported to have said that whoever habitually recites Ayatul Kursi after each obligatory prayers will be admitted to Jannah. So that is the ultimate purpose, at least for as much as we are alive. So that is our aim and objective. So we should endeavor reciting Ayatul Kursi at the end of every salat. So number two, it serves a cogent protection against evils. For example, to anyone who is afraid of anything or wants protection against evils, so you can recite the ayah 7 times, 11 times, 21, 23, 41, 50, 70, and 170 times or more. Okay, we can read it ordinarily and rub the hand on our face and our body. When you are feeling pain, we can recite it on the palm and rub our hand on the affected area. So also we can also recite it in a cup of water. Okay, drink it also. Okay, it also increases memory and understanding and inspiration. All right. So then another thing is if we wish to wake up in the night without any alarm, okay, we want to wake up at a particular time. So when we want to wake up while lying down on the bed, we should recite Ayatul Kursi, and one time, then we keep repeating La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm until we fall asleep. Inshallah wa bihawlihi, we will wake up exactly at the time that we desire to wake up. It is also reciting it before sleeping or while on the bed is also an aid, okay, against bad dreams and bad hallucinations. Okay, so but in all the way, we need to be in state of purification while observing it. So that is required. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all the benefits. And there are many other benefits of Ayatul Kursi. We consult the books of the prayer, so particularly for those who have access to Khazinatul Asrar. So you can also get other benefits through it. Now, about our natural care for natural diseases. So this is treatment of epilepsy for those who are affected or those who want to treat. It is just very simple. We need to get garlic and onions, just simple. So when we see someone who is affected with down with epilepsy, so we take garlic and onion, we blend it together or squeeze it together. Then the water, we squeeze it through the nose of the patient. So it will reduce the attack at that particular time and leverage it. Okay. So then the patients to make it an habit to consume raw garlic and onions regularly. Okay, regularly, but at least 4 times a week, either in the night or in the day. Okay, be that. So who is everything and everyone, the person will be healed. Okay. with the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is what we have for ourselves today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it as an act of ibadah from us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. Jazakumullahu khairan kathiran. So by this, I place myself and surrender myself and every one of you under the protection and guide of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in whose protection and guide nothing is missed and lost. أستودعكم ونفسي في رعاية الله الذي لا يضيع ودائعه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.